of the internet. My name is Timid and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new here. And in today's video, we're building a house for my Reaper's Reward sim. So if you're not aware of the Reaper's Reward event, it's essentially a 6-week event that's going on in The Sims 4 at the moment. I believe at the time this video is going out, it should be around week 5. Each week there are new quests and you can unlock quest rewards such as freezer bunnies, or rather freezer bonies, scythe earrings, a grimophone, which is basically like a radio that can also summon the Grim Reaper. There's goth jeans, there's a bike, there's loads of cool rewards you can get. I haven't named them all and I honestly can't remember them all. So the quests are like little kind of scenarios, I guess, you can play. There's tasks to do with skill building, so you have to build up your cooking, gourmet cooking, gardening and fishing skill, so you can prepare to make ambrosia, which can bring a ghost sim back to life. There's little steps every week to be able to make it. As I'm recording this video, I'm on week 4, so I've gotten the angel fish and the death flower. I imagine a potion of youth will be part of week 5's quest, but just so I could get it out of the way, I spent a couple hours last week grinding on sim skills, so I maxed out my sim's gardening skill first, then her fishing skill, then her cooking skill, and her gourmet cooking skill. I'm planning on maxing out her painting skill purely so we can have a decent source of income. My sim used to have a job, but it kind of got in the way of the challenge, so I chose to quit and make money when I needed it. Oh, by the way, I apologise for the lack of the shell building. The footage of the shell floor plan and front garden got corrupted, but I promise we're not missing too much. I moved around all the windows and changed the shell a little bit anyway at some point during the speed build. I have no idea where we are because for some silly reason I don't watch my speed builds when I record the voiceover. I just ranted to a microphone at 3 AM, have a nap, have a snack, then edit it. So I should probably tell you a little bit about this sim. I pretty much always play with the same sim character, as in there's multiple versions of this sim. For example, I have a murderous Timmy when I made a video where I'm trying to turn my house into a graveyard so I could proudly display my murders in the front garden. I promise I'm safe. I have another Timmy that was a mermaid and she was the start of my 10 Generation Legacy series. I have another Timmy who killed off Nancy Landgrab so she can marry Jeffrey Landgrab purely because he's, you know, rich. Essentially, I have a lot of Timmys. So this Timmy had a mum who very tragically died to a killer rabbit, and it definitely wasn't on purpose for the sake of the Reaper's Reward challenge, I promise. But anyway, she's called Timmy's mummy and she appears in my house every so often as a ghost and keeps breaking all of my crap. Side note, it gets really annoying when ghost sims keep breaking my sinks and my toilets and showers and fridges and essentially all of my appliances because they enjoy haunting them. Anyway, side rant over. So Timmy's mummy accidentally died. So Timmy is currently making the ambrosia for her so she can come back to life. I thought it would be cool to give her a slightly spellcaster, paranormal something vibe without actually being a spellcaster. Like, she flirts with magic rather than actually constantly practicing. So it's like she can make a huge mac of mac and cheese in a cauldron but couldn't curse anyone to save her life. So I used a heck of a lot of stuff for the paranormal stuff pack, which in my opinion is the best stuff pack, and I'll go into that in a minute. So the floor plan of this house is kind of basic. I wanted to keep the vibe to be kind of American suburban exterior that's completely personalized on the inside, but I wanted to keep the more basic floor plan so it seems kind of more decorated, if that makes sense. So the lore is basically that Timmy bought a house and did what she could within her budget to make it her own, to personalise it essentially. So there's an open plan downstairs for the most part with a little patio area outside the living room. There's a fairly big kitchen with a bar and a seance table instead of a dining table, which could potentially be a little bit controversial. However, this house is for a sim who is single, doesn't have many friends and has no need for a dining table, and if she ever did, I just put outdoor seating in the back garden. I did change the staircase to make it a little bit more closed off, and I put 2 different floorings between the living room and the kitchen because I'm indecisive and couldn't choose between having it open plan or closed off, so I tried to go for something a little bit in between. But anyway, I actually put the main bathroom downstairs, which also might be a little controversial, but I wanted to have a bigger bedroom upstairs and a sort of spellcasting, seance, general paranormal stuff kind of room, so kind of like a study, I guess. So I decided to put the main bathroom downstairs. I based the bedroom off one specific bed from the high school years pack, and I added a small bathroom upstairs. So I've used a bunch of stuff from the Paranormal Stuff Pack. I added 2 seance tables, I added the paranormal couch, wall decor, wallpaper, rugs, a bunch of things. And the reason why I think the Paranormal Stuff Pack is the best stuff pack is because it has so much content in it compared to the other stuff packs. It comes with a haunted house lot type, it comes with little ghosties, you can master the medium skill and get your paranormal investigator license. And then you can take on some freelance gigs to expel ghosts from other Sims homes. Essentially it's like Ghostbusters, but The Sims 4. You can perform a seance, remove cursed objects, speak to the dead, and you can summon Bonehilda. If you don't know who Bonehilda is, she's fantastic. She's basically a maid, but she's also a skeleton. I also use the cast so much. I don't often use the gameplay, but when I do it's really fun. It's fairly compatible with Realm of Magic, and the build stuff is very specific. I mean, it's not the most versatile, but I can find some use for it in other styles of builds. Oh, by the way, there is currently a sale in the Sims store, so all of the stuff packs are currently 30% off, except the 2 newest ones, which are Home Chef Hustle and Crystal Creations pack, which are 20% off. Side note, Paranormal Stuff, Crystal Creations and Realm of Magic packs go really well together. All of the game packs are currently 30% off, apart from Werewolves, which for some reason is 40% off, and all of the expansion packs are 50% off, except for the Rent pack, which is 38% because it's still fairly new. It only came out this year, and Lovestruck and The Life and Death aren't on sale because they're the newest expansion packs. And then the kits don't really go on sale. Usually if a kit goes on sale, the Sims team will pick one kit and put it on sale for essentially 100% off, usually as an apology for something. So for example, about maybe 4 months ago, the Sims gave away the Blooming Rooms kit for free as sort of an apology, like a please don't hate us sort of thing, for rolling out the EA app to all the Mac users. So everyone had to switch over. It was kind of a pain. So the Sims team gave PC users a free kit to apologize. So if you've watched any Speedbuild videos before, you'll know that sometimes I use these videos as kind of like a personal update thing. So I'm currently loosely looking for a house. And I'm looking to buy a house at the moment, and it made me realize that adulting is not easy. As a kid, I kind of assumed that it would be like The Sims, where I could just buy like a small quick cabana and save up more money and eventually get a bigger house. That's such a lie. Buying a house is so stupidly difficult that you have to figure out how much you can realistically afford. You have to save up for a down payment, get pre-approved for a mortgage, find an estate agent, go through the process of selling your current home. You have to find a house you like, go for a viewing, make an offer that may or may not be accepted, get a home inspection and appraisal, finalize the mortgage, and hope and pray that your house doesn't fall through. Transfer and register the title deed, pack your entire house, move in, redecorate, unpack, reorganize, and sort out all the silly things like getting your address changed on important documents, getting Wi-Fi and phone stuff sorted. That's the process I'm starting to do, and I feel both stupid for starting this absolute ball ache of a process, but also terrified because does that technically mean I'm an adult now? Like, I've been a legal adult for a hot minute. It's been a while, but I've never felt like a real adult. And then one day I ended up in a serious relationship, and I'm starting the process of buying a house. I felt a bit adult when I bought my car because that makes me feel quite adult. That's a fairly adult purchase, right? But this is actually scary, and it makes me want to cry on my mum's shoulder. If we couldn't tell, it's like 3:15 in the morning, and I have an awful sleep schedule. I'm like 6 coffees deep, and I guess we're here for the chaos. Anyways, so I keep doing this thing where I have a normal sleep schedule, where I go to sleep at like midnight and wake up about 6-ish, and then suddenly I run out of time in a day, end up going to bed at 4 a.m, then waking up like 10. The next day I'll go to bed at 8 a.m. and then wake up at 4 p.m. And it would just get worse and worse, and then the next day I'll go to bed midday, wake up in the evening. The next day I'll go to bed in the evening and wake up at like 2 a.m. until I get back to my original thing of going to bed at like midnight and waking up at 6 a.m. And then I'll do this for a couple of weeks until I suddenly run out of time one day and stay up late and get back into this violent cycle of constant sleep deprivation. And then I try to solve it with caffeine, and that just makes everything so much worse, and I get really tired and grumpy and grouchy. Then it also means that I don't have like normal meals, so I eat at weird times, and then I end up only eating when I'm actually really hungry, and I lose track of how many meals I've had in a day, and then I end up forgetting, and I only have one meal and then become malnourished, and I became violently anemic. It's a whole thing. See, this is why I don't feel like an adult. I can buy a house, but I don't have a bedtime. Little life ran over. I was having a look at the laundry list, right? And if you don't know what the laundry list is, it's basically like a list of bugs that the Sims team promised to fix, and they come out every so often. Maybe every month or two, occasionally 3, just depends. And I love looking at it purely so I can get my hopes up about bugs that I've been experiencing actually getting fixed, but also to find out what other bugs exist in the games, because some of them are actually really tragic. For example, this month's laundry list made me aware of sometimes Sims don't actually close their eyes when they sleep. Plants that have been watered apparently can still die even when they're not supposed to. Nannies can randomly turn invisible. The crystal tree will just become invisible or transparent, and the crystals from, the crystal creation pack will finally become collectible, so you can use them in your jewelry creations. City living festivals just didn't appear properly in the calendar. Packed lunch boxes from the inventory are now going to actually be eaten by teen Sims when they go to school, rather than ignoring their lunch and just buying food autonomously. My favourite one is that infants will no longer teleport outside the crib when resuming the game as babies fall asleep. I think some of these bugs, as annoying as they are kind of hilarious. Along with bug fixes, they usually add in a few things that make the game slightly less annoying. So from now on, while in Creator Sim mode, spellcasters and werewolf animations will run less often. So if you're unaware, spellcasters always perform magic while you're in cast, and it's honestly a pain because you're trying to play dress up while your sim is constantly moving. It's the same with werewolf, they're just constantly howling while you're trying to dress them up. On the topic of occult sims, mermaids now have their own tombstones. So before, they would just get a regular gravestone, but if you have Island Living, a sim who dies in water gets a little urn with like this rubber ring around it, and I think that's actually hilarious. That's about it for the changes to the occult sims. However, there is a new thing which is really cool. You can now tip pizza delivery sims. I kind of love that. Not that I would ever do that because I'm hella greedy with my simoleons, but it's a cute new feature. Apparently, Sims will no longer go into mourning if they witness a stranger die. It's only there if they're at least acquaintances. But lastly, you can modify the career outfit cheat so it now works for part-time careers. Essentially, you could cheat the career outfit so you can modify it in CAS, so you could customize it how you like. But that was only an option for full-time career outfits. Now it's an option for part-time careers as well. I'm just going to circle back to the build for a second. I was thinking about what skill building things I wanted to have in the house. So I wanted my sim to have the painting and medium skill. She's already maxed out gardening, cooking, gourmet cooking and fishing. So I thought it would be nice to put a couple more skill building things in. I ended up putting in a pool to try and build up her fitness skill. I put in a computer so she can work on gaming skill and her logic skill. I considered a crafty skill like cross stitch or knitting, but I have a little bit of a gripe with the nifty knitting pack. It would have been the perfect pack for seniors, however, all of the swatches are quite bright swatches. The vibe is more kind of Pinteresty art room for young adult rather than nice muted swatches that would have been perfect for a senior. There is a lack of senior hobbies in The Sims 4. I would argue that there's more for seniors to do in The Sims Free Play than there is The Sims 4. That's something I really wish for in The Sims 4. I feel like the closest we had was cottage living. But even that pack, I kind of got bored by seniors. By the time they get to be a senior, I'm kind of just waiting for them to die, so I can play with them as a ghost and I can go haunt things and do cool stuff, which is going to get so much better after the new Life and Death expansion pack comes out. So I think the day that this video is coming out, it should only be a few days until the pack comes out, but for me it's like the 18th, and the pack doesn't come out for a couple of weeks still. But I watched the trailer that came out yesterday, and honestly, I didn't learn that much that I didn't already know from previous information that the Sims team released. I mean, I got to see some more casts and build items, but I spoke about the gameplay quite a bit in last week's speed build, so if you want to hear my opinion on the pack, I'll link the video in the description. If you're not aware, the new expansion pack is coming out on Halloween, so I know exactly what I'm doing this Halloween. Honestly, I don't really celebrate Halloween that much because I prefer to celebrate it as All Hallows Eve, which is kind of similar. We still eat sweets and we have an All Hallow Eve's party, we attend a church service, we have a bonfire, we play games and just spend time with close friends and family. Think of it kind of like Christmas Eve. It's not the main event, but it's cool to have a smaller celebration the day before. On a side note, I was thinking about working on some limited pack builds. How would we feel about a build with just the spooky packs once the new one comes out? I could see how compatible the build stuff is with packs like the Paranormal Stuff pack, Realm of Magic, maybe Crystal Creations, the sort of occulty type packs. I think it would be cool to try something so far out of my comfort zone. I hate using limited packs, even though this is a kind of semi-limited build pack. I mean, I tried and I kind of failed at that, and I ended up using For Rent, High School Years, Cottage Living, Snowy Escape, Realm of Magic, Strangerville, Vampire, Spa Day, Home Chef Hustle, Paranormal Stuff, Tiny Living, Laundry, the Movie Hangout, Cool Kitchen Stuff, the Pastel Pop Kit, the Blooming Rooms Kit, and the Holiday Celebration Kit. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I used a violent amount of packs when I was actively trying to not. Like, I feel like an awful simmer. I'm sorry. Side note, if you've not heard of this Holiday Celebration Kit, it's an actual free kit you can claim from the EA app, I believe. It's either there or you can claim it from the main menu screen when you open The Sims 4. It works really well with Seasons, but it also works really well as a small replacement for the build stuff in Seasons. There's basically like a Christmas tree, festive garland, there's curtains, a small table, there's present piles, snowmen, nutcracker decorations, snowflake wall decals. There's a bunch of stuff you can claim for free. It's essentially a free DLC. I would highly recommend going and downloading it. Another small side note, I don't even know how I used stuff like the Movie Hangout and Spa Day and Tiny Living. Like, where did I use this stuff? How did I use this stuff? Why did I use this stuff? Anyways, I assume it's getting kind of close to the end of the video. There's probably some screenshots of the build coming up at some point around now, if they're not already going. But I hope you guys like the build. If you have any particular Sims build that you'd like me to try, let me know in the comments. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe, but absolutely no pressure if you don't want to. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless you all, lots of love, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!